Well, I'm back from a few very nice days doing very nice things with Dora and Jack and Yuli in Llantys in Wales. We had a wonderful ride on a steam train with Yuli. Went to see the woman who runs the Little Red Tarot Company there, whose book of tarot is absolutely fantastic, and she showed us all the different tarot decks that she sells. And we also went to the lovely bookshop, which was supposed to be closed the days we were there. A lot of shops in Mac seem to be open very little, actually. They have lunch breaks and things like that. But they opened up for an hour or two so that we could buy some stuff off them, which was very nice. But in between that, I was just so tired. And I still am. Today I've planned to get up and do stuff, and actually I've been not just lying in bed but asleep in bed, spending hours thinking, I must take a drink of water, and then not quite getting around to it. I've been right off food. That's the other main thing. Food, my mouth feeling really again, and food tasting pretty shitty. So meanwhile, the good news is that my scans show that the liver cancer is stabilized by the chemo, i.e. it's not getting bigger, and any bits that remain in my bowel they're not too worried about. They're minute and they're just growing a little bit. So that seems promising in this sort of world of palliative care.
Twinnings. My 7-year-old grandson's over from Stockholm and quarantined with us. Wander into my room where I'm writing and start to play with 2 large puppets I own, almost as tall as they are. There they are. Vidar and Atlas are identical twins, beautiful, blonde, very shy, nervous about speaking English, but also very affectionate. They come over and lean into me for a hug, and I'm touched. They find a collection of rubber stamps in a drawer and start to print patterns on scrap paper. Experiment with an old typewriter of mine. Fingers get messy, keys jammed, ink smeared on my computer. They next find my drums and a crash cymbal, make a racket. I begin to feel invaded. Now I strum chords on the ukulele and they're drumming mellows. They begin to hum and play along. This is fun. It's wonderful, but weird, having your adult children and their families to stay now they're fully grown, stressed out with responsibilities, habits and opinions, feelings pulsing every which way across and between the generations. Grandparenthood is presented as the icing on the familial cake, a sweet, solid achievement, where actually it throws you into a kind of emotional polyamory as new relationships and pairings proliferate. How will the children's partners, other grandparents, uncles and aunts get along? Will the children play well together? What alliances, rivalries, insecurities and jealousies might suddenly spring up to disrupt the established matrices? It's hard to write about your own grown-up children too. I love ours both so deeply. But what else can I say that doesn't embarrass, pigeonhole or compare them somehow? I have no right to try to define or critique their mature relationships and inner workings. It delights me that they both have great partners, also fascinating jobs which, like most of mine, nobody quite understands, but seem to involve trying in different ways to make a better future for the world. Perhaps weird futurology is our family trade. It amazes me that they both call so often to see how I am, and we have proper, unguarded, content-rich conversations about politics, family, life, whatever. The twins and I are playing on when Joe arrives anxiously in the room, having suddenly wondered where his boys are, also set to get cross or stressed. Instead he smiles, sits and watches us, gradually joins in the drumming, admires the boys' rubber stamp designs, and laughs as they dance with the puppets. It's the most relaxed time I've spent with him and them this week, perhaps for years, and it's priceless. My days are busy and rich. Last week, for instance, I fell flat in the road trying to hurry across lights on the way to the oncologist. Kind people picked me and my stuff up. Nothing broken, just a grazed knee, and far more important, a crack in the screen of my iPhone. I spent 2 days weak as a puppy, lying on the sofa watching every daytime TV show variant on buying and selling junk antiquities, homes or hideaways. A televisual purgatory. When I next had strength to enter my studio and at least think about working there, it felt as exciting as a visit to a new continent. When our neighbour gave us free tickets to the Albert Hall to see him conduct a brilliant performance of Stravinsky's Firebird Suite, I was taken to another planet. We took an Uber home, brimming with it all. I stared out of the window on the buzzing streets of London, and it felt like looking back on a wonderful life already lost. The next day I was back on the sofa, unable to eat more than bites of food and to think beyond escape from celebrity flogget. In the morning, I FaceTimed Teresa, the therapist I've been seeing. She reminds me that I am actually still in this world and capable of making choices, for instance, to save up energy enough to go to the proms, even if that does mean taking a day or two to recuperate afterwards. I must plan what places I'd most like to revisit when my blue badge arrives, which it has now, and enough strength returns. Maybe not the jazz cafe, but possibly the festival hall or the basement of a local pub. I lie in bed talking to her, head propped up by pillows, but Teresa points out I've been fully engaged in our conversation, and I have been. Last night, I still felt exhausted and brainless. This morning I picked my morning tarot card, and it's the Knight of Pentacles, subtitle Dedication. It's a card about pressing on through difficulty and pulls me out of self-pity and back to the task in hand, which is to finish my very important work. 2 newly prescribed steroid tablets managed to wipe out all my symptoms in one go, or at least plaster them over, except the neuropathy, which makes me wobbly on my feet. I totter upstairs, expecting to collapse into bed, and instead I'm here, in my studio, at the desk, in the now, reading this.